I'd be lying if I said that the world isn't changing. And with that, there's a lot of uncertainties that are happening. And this is also very true in medicine. And let me tell you why. I think when you think of a medical doctor, especially in the UK, you think that a medical doctor has everything figured out, knows what they're doing. They're kind of like, these Avenger type characters that move around and make a lot of money. But that is not the case, okay? There are a lot of strenuous things that happen right now in medicine that has basically devolved the way we thought medicine used to be like. And that has had a very big, significant toll on both doctors everywhere and also med students. With the current cost of living crisis, especially with the inflation rates, money isn't what it used to be. And it hasn't kept up with society in itself, which is quite interesting to see. So, a big part of what we've been seeing in the UK at the moment is the strikes. The strikes are a big, big thing. It is essentially looking for pay restoration to basically come up with some sort of figure that basically fits the same thing that we saw in 2008 based on inflation. So it's not a pay rise, but a pay restoration. And it is very interesting to see how people view this, especially with how it's touted within the media. And obviously, it has its big effects because the perception of how we see medicine and doctors is changing in a lot of ways. And that honestly is through no fault of the medical profession's own. If anything, they're just asking for basic rights like everybody else, and that should be no different. And forget about the financial side of everything. It is literally about the work culture within the NHS in general, both within medical students who are actually entering into the space of medicine, and those who have started in the spaces of medicine, those who are in it, and those who've been in it long enough that they've seen the changes that are actually happening. And that is something I think that all of us need to realize right now. We're realizing that the workforce that we have within the UK is dwindling. The number of people, especially with the population explosion that we've been experiencing, as much as we do know that the birth rates are falling, but it means that there are more older people of older generation. That obviously means more comorbidities, especially with the industrialization of the world and society, and it's not keeping up with the fact that medicine as we see it today, cannot withstand those pressures. And that's something that we need to actually figure out and talk about. And it's high time that we actually start seeing this and actually talking about it rather than sweeping it under the rug. And it's one of the things that I think as medical students, we're now looking at and seeing the future that is now kind of topsy turvy and realizing how do we fit in this? How do we help? How do we know if this is exactly what we want to do, or is there certain changes that we need to actually see happen in order to retain and keep the people that we have now? Because I'm sure, just as much as everybody else, we do want to be able to stay within the UK and help the people of the UK because that's why we trained in the first place, right? We want to help people. But before you ever do start criticizing people about where the stances may lie, start to think about the human that's behind it, not just the title that they have earned or the title that they have. There's obviously a reason as to why they're saying the pressures are a lot. We need help. And not only do we need help, we need to be able to sustain, because how do we help people the best we can when our hours are ridiculously long because there's literally a lot of pressures going on and people can't handle it. So a lot of people overwork to compensate, but it's not enough to compensate with the number of people that we're seeing. Stuff like that. Okay. But I do think that there's a lot of work that needs to be done in order for us to actually see a change within medicine. This is just my little opinion that is there, but I do think every opinion matters and it's something we do need to consider. And if you haven't read about what's going on at the moment in the UK with medicine, I do encourage you to check it, especially if you're thinking about applying, because this could be a big topic that could come up in your interviews if you're thinking about going into medicine. But anyway, I'll see you in a bit. If you haven't already, please subscribe or follow this account. It helps me a lot. Thanks.